Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Client Spotlight podcast with MacRAE'S. My name is Crystal Bell Smythe, and today I'm happy to be joined by Chris Adams from Canadian Shade. So, what we'll do is we'll just hear a little bit about their business journey and how working with MacRAE'S has helped them grow. And so, yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So, Chris, if you can just go ahead and introduce yourself, a bit about yourself, and a bit about your role at Canadian Shade.
Yeah, thank you, Crystal. Thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, of
Very
course.
happy to be here and happy to kind of give my story. My name's Chris with Canadian. I'm the director at Canadian Shade. We've been in business for about 10 years. We sell, service, and install retractable patio awnings in southern Ontario. Um, so we started with one factory. It's all Canadian made goods, and we eventually grew. Now we service multiple Canadian factories representing Canadian products in our industry, um, kind of being their boots on the ground, servicing, installing. Uh, Originally just the Toronto area, now we're all across southern Ontario.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, you kind of answered sort of leading into my next question about, who is it that you serve in terms of industry and location, and then what it is you do. So that's great
Yeah,
to see that, you've expanded beyond like the Toronto area into more of Southern
we
Ontario, like
have,
you
we
said.
have. We are primary residential.
Okay.
We do some commercial, but primarily we service. Um, our the way we engage our clients is more about providing shade for the backyard.
Okay.
That whole outdoor living lifestyle
Yes.
is what we specialize in.
Yes, definitely with these summer months, we want to take advantage of that as much as
For
possible.
sure. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So if you could, like, I know you just gave us a brief background, but if you could maybe in one sentence, if you could like describe your business, just boil it down to one sentence for me.
Sure. Yeah. I guess if I put it into one sentence, we sell, service, and install shade products for the backyard.
Perfect. Sounds great. Thank you. And then so leading into, a bit about your partnership and working with McRae's, what would you say it was that, prompted you to look for a digital marketing partner?
So I actually come from a marketing background.
Okay.
I was for several years doing this all on my own,
Mm,
and as the business grew, I started to realize that even though I knew the industry and I knew how to do online marketing, that there were the other 15 jobs I also had to do at the same time,
right.
and something had to give. And
Yes.
I did know marketing started to take more and more of a back seat in my day-to-day operations, and I couldn't manage both running the business and properly paying attention to engaging our customers or
Okay.
our potential customers, our leads.
Yeah.
Um, and as fortune would have it, that's when I met Robert,
Right.
who's the initial point of contact.
Yeah.
He kind of introduced me to his company, and we started the relationship from there. Um, yeah,
Yeah, so essentially it came out of a necessity. Just you were pulled in too many directions, and you're like, I'm just gonna have to leave this in the hands of an agency to handle the marketing side of
yeah,
things.
and Robert actually wasn't. You guys weren't actually the first. I
Okay.
did go through a couple of. Um, it started with a couple of. We all get the emails. Your website looks terrible. I can help,
Yeah.
sort of deal.
Yeah.
I went through a couple of those because I liked the price tag. But then it came down to get what you pay for, I guess, and
Yeah.
nothing really worked well. So I guess having that critical eye too, as I knew what was good and what wasn't
Hmm.
on reviewing. I quickly kind of churned through a couple, and then eventually met you guys.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my follow-up questions is what made you decide on McRae's over maybe some of the other options that you were looking at?
Well, that was it basically. I mean, I
Yeah.
was you guys came across more. Um, well, let's say less like somebody in their basement doing the SEO.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
it's, you guys had you know, immediately I was introduced to Tanvir and the
Yeah.
team, creative. There was a creative person. There was, you know, somebody managing,
Designer.
and then
Yeah.
selling. Like there was your whole team kind of comes together.
Hmm.
Um, and I appreciated that. And to be honest, for the price point, I'm like, okay, well, I have now a whole marketing department basically doing my online marketing for me at you know, less than the cost of hiring one full time agent to do it. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, let's give this a shot. Let's see what happens.
Try and it ended up working out, so that's great.
Yeah.
So what are some of the services that you partnered with McRae's for?
Um, Primarily, it was SEO.
Okay.
I I was kind of sold on the idea that I was spending a lot of money on Google advertising.
Right.
We were in, you know, six figures annually, dumping it into Google, and getting results. Like
Hmm.
it didn't. I can't say it did a bad job,
Right.
but it was a consistent thing, and I like the idea. You know, Robert and Tanvir kind of sold me on the idea that SEO is more of a permanent, especially in our industry, which is a little bit lower, probably uh, lower competition on keywords than, say, I don't know, the insurance industry or real estate.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, in the trades, we're you know, not everyone is working in that sphere of online digital marketing, so um, it was easier to kind of compete on the keywords. And I figured, you know, the investment now with you guys would actually save me money in the long term
In the long run.
um,
Yep.
on on the services on my marketing, which has come to pass just this year actually. So
Oh, that's
three
awesome. That's great to
three
hear.
years in, and now the returns are starting to come back to us. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what we like to hear, especially like you said in regard to SEO being more of a permanent thing. On the offside, looking at like Google Ads, that's more tends to be on the more expensive side of things. Yeah.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
started there. Now like there's a lot of, you know, you guys are doing content. This year we're talking about something called generative marketing. I
Marketing.
think
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
I don't even know what that
Regarding
is.
AI. Yep.
So
Definitely.
see,
Yep.
I'm not even doing marketing anymore. So I'm not even, I don't know the terms anymore. What's going on three
Right.
years in?
All
So
the different acronyms. Yeah. What do they mean? Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, well, it sounds good. Let's
Yeah.
do it. I like it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, awesome. And then obviously you've mentioned Rob and Tanvir.
Mhm.
Do you have an idea of maybe how many people on the McRae's team that you've actually ended up working with, and like in what
Um,
capacity?
well, you know, I don't know who is doing some of the back end stuff
Right.
because
Yeah.
they also do our website. They actually did do a ground up rebuild of our website. Took
Okay.
it over from Wix.
Yep.
.com, which I used because it was easy and I could do
Easy
it
to
because I was
build
doing it
yourself.
myself back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
They moved it over to WordPress, which is there's a lot
Hmm.
more customization options.
Yeah.
So they started with that, and I don't know who does. And then every time I have an issue with the website, I just email Tanvir and he sends it off to somebody. So I
Yeah.
don't know in the back end. To answer your
Yeah.
question, I don't know in the back end like how many
Yeah.
people are there, but regular contact I have, you know, Robert once in a while. Tanvir is the guy I, you know, talk to get things done, and
Hmm.
then Catherine sends me
Content.
approvals for content creation and
Right.
whatnot. So those three are the kind of my three main points of contact, and then
Okay.
everything else in the background is just kind of running, and it all works, so I don't have any
Yep.
need to question it.
That's what we like to see. Say
Yeah,
everything's working on the back end, so it's just minimal people you have to communicate with on a day to day.
yeah.
And yeah, speaking of communication, how would you say the communication has been? Like whether it's Tanvir or Catherine or maybe Rob that you're reaching out to, how has that experience
Pretty
been?
much instant. I mean,
Yeah,
I send I'll send a message to Tanvir. I'll get a response within a day.
yeah,
Um, that's at the worst.
yeah.
So sometimes it's right away. Um, but but yeah, and I mean, I've met the team as well, right? They're right
Yes,
here. I think in Toronto. So
yeah,
um, but yeah, the response. I just know I talked to Tanvir and he will delegate out everything. So
Yeah.
and he's very fast on. He's on the ball with that. So
Yes. That's awesome. And so, like, just in terms of what you've described a bit with partnering with MacRAE'S regarding whether it was the website or SEO content, things like that, would you have some insights on some of the maybe outcomes or results that you've seen since partnering with MacRAE'S?
yeah. So aside from all the time I've gone back from not doing this all the time,
Yeah.
I when the first year. So
Hmm.
we started. Our busy season starts in the spring and it goes through. We started
Okay.
as per their recommendation in October when we were slow,
Hmm.
because building authority takes time
Yeah.
and online, and so I wanted that to be rolling by the time we hit spring. So the
Right.
initial first few months was an investment with not a lot of real um, things happening.
Tangible
Um,
results at that time.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
after about month 4 or 5, that
Hmm.
changed. So everything kind of started to slowly, steadily increase. All of the keyword searches, which they had researched as most searchable terms, started elevating. They started going
Hmm.
up, and that was a steady climb till. I mean, it's always been climbing. It
Right.
was the first year. It was a very steep climb that we came up, and it started to level off, but it's always going up. New search terms are coming in. Now we're looking at now the team has recommended to create store pages, or sorry, location pages where
Hmm.
they're putting us in specific regions, kind of
Right.
micro targeting geographical areas, and that just kind of multiplies our authority within a geographic region, and everything is kind of synergizing together, up until this point, where just this year I cut my Google ad spend in half,
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
and I don't have the whole complete numbers yet because the year's
Yeah.
not over, but at the moment our leads coming in is up about 40%. So even though I'm spending half of the money on Google Ads,
Right.
we are well above even last year when we were running both the ads, and so it's going up, and I'm very happy with that because now I'm
That's
saving.
great.
Now the investment has paid off, and now I'm saving
Yeah.
money on my marketing, and we still have an increase in leads. So
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. I mean, that's the type of success we like to hear. So that's
yeah.
great. And I mean, you kind of just touched on it, but I was going to ask, like, what would be the biggest win or impact for your business since partnering with McRae's? But I guess that's probably it, being able to cut your Google spend in half and still seeing, the
I think
increase.
there's two very valuable parts for me. One is the one is obviously the leads. The lead generation.
Yeah.
That's really what we expect out of an SEO company. They're not
Yep.
working. It's our job to work those leads when they come in, and we use other resources to try and improve those
Hmm.
metrics. But the SEO is great. But our we have an annual meeting every year, and in that meeting we discuss both my aspirations moving forward for the logistics of the company, and then their recommendations on based on the authority that our website, because now that our website is high authority, for an example, there is a consideration
Yep.
of that authority could be used out of province. And even though I don't know
Right.
how to use it out of province or monetize that, I don't have any infrastructure outside of Ontario, that gives me a thought on a direction we could take the company, because we have that. Our website has that, is can very quickly gain authority in other regions. Um,
Right.
so the that meeting creates, at me going into our slower season, it creates the ideas of what could happen next year, what we could grow into next year, and I find those meetings to also be very, very valuable.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's great to hear. You're sort of thinking about expanding beyond the current region just based on some of the success with the
You
website
got
and
to
the
keep
digital
moving.
marketing. So
It's
that's awesome.
you got to
Yeah,
keep moving forward. So
yeah, exactly. Got to
yeah,
keep growing with the times. Yeah.
yeah.
So would there be anything that you think we as McRae's could do differently, or suggestions you might have for improvements overall?
I really can't. I mean, the only other SEO companies that I've had the comparative for, this isn't a knock on you, but the bar was very low when I started. so,
Okay.
but I don't really have any comparative notes to other professional SEO companies that I've never worked with them in the past. Although I did come from that kind of background in marketing, mind you,
Background, yeah.
this is 15 years plus ago. It was a different There's a different
Hmm.
online game back then, um, but you guys are very professional, very responsive. Even when I have an idea to move forward with, the team helps me flesh it out and see if it's actually viable and worth doing, or how to do it as far as
Right.
the marketing side.
Yeah.
So always responsive. Yeah, I don't have any complaints. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's what we like to hear, so that's
yeah,
great.
fair.
Would you
Yeah.
have any, yeah, any advice for any businesses that may be considering
I
working with
actually I
McRae?
did have one complaint. I did tell Robert last year is that um, he was giving me a lot more work than I was expecting because our leads that
Right.
first year almost doubled. And I called them some names first, and I said, your guys, what they're
Okay.
doing is awful. And then
Yeah.
I explained why. So that's kind of not really a complaint, but yes, it is.
Yeah.
We did have to pivot a lot
Okay.
to keep up with the traffic. So
Okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, a complaint from your side, but I mean, from our perspective, that's good.
yeah, you're
Getting
doing
more
what you wanted
business.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like, sorry, any advice you would have for businesses considering working with McRae's?
Um, yeah, I mean, if you're a small business, especially if you're regionally located, like if you're a regional business and in the trades, especially, like that's
Hmm.
my experience right now with you guys.
Right.
Um, it is definitely worth doing. Um, you're as long as your budgets can afford it, it's gonna cost you more in the first 6 months, and then it's gonna start costing you less. So
Right.
there's no downside as long as you can make that initial investment. Um, it's I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about your I'm not going to talk about your numbers, but it's basically a set monthly rate for converted hours worked,
Yep.
and they do anything you want, right? So like I've asked all kinds of things for you guys to help out with, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, we got a guy for that,
Yeah.
as long as it's online related. I mean, you're not
Yep.
installing my awnings for me, but you're at
Yeah.
least all the digital stuff you're kind of managing
Yeah.
for me. So,
Hmm.
and that's me coming from that industry. If you're not in that industry, I'm a great parallel to say that you know if you don't know marketing, you guys definitely know marketing. You guys know, and as a original peer in that industry, I can say that is definitely the case with you guys. So,
Okay. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for your time today.
you're
It's
welcome.
been
My pleasure.
great. Yeah, it's been great getting to learn more about your story and just your experience working with McRae's and just some of the success that you've had since partnering with McRae's. So, thank you to everyone listening, and stay tuned for more stories of digital growth from McRae's. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Crystal.